How long have you been playing together, the three of you?
I think it's about 4 years now. We just
As Tradish, yeah.
as Tradish, yeah. But we have been playing together for many years.
Decades.
Decades. So we know each other quite well.
We used to play together in a band called Moving Cloud, which started out in the... Well, actually, we started playing together in the mid-90s, I think. We were with a larger band called Moving Cloud, where we had a dancer, and we were 5 people. And then when Moving Cloud, different people from the band moved to different places, so that was around about 2009, was it? And I think around about and then we decided it would be a good idea to try and do something that was a little bit more kind of just 3 people rather than a bigger band. So that's when Tradish really got going, and we thought what it would be interesting would be to take the music that we've been playing a lot with Moving Cloud, which was more kind of more Irish music in a box. In a box, yeah. It was really Irish music. Where now with Tradish, we've been exploring some of the ways that Irish music has mixed together with other kinds of music. And one of the themes that we like to explore when we're on our albums and in our concerts is the idea that certainly over the last 200 years there's been a big movement of people away from Ireland for various reasons, and when they've left Ireland to go to different parts of the world, they've taken the music and the culture with them. And actually, if you look at the development of Irish music, it's quite interesting that a lot of the big developments actually haven't happened necessarily in Ireland. A lot of them have happened in America. A lot of the original classic recordings from the 1920s and 1930s with people like Michael Coleman, they were all made in America. Okay, that was great enough, they were Irish people, but it was Irish people who left Ireland. And we think this is a kind of quite an interesting way of looking at Irish music, rather than looking at it from inside Ireland, which we can't because we don't live in Ireland. However, we have the opportunity to go around and meet people all over the world, particularly around in Europe when we're playing. And Irish music seems to be played all over the place, and we can always find people. It's a great way to meet people. It's a great way to play together with people, and so that's how it's working now.
So consciously you accept or even search influences from other kinds of music, source of music from other parts of the world. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're all interested in all sorts of different kinds of music. One of the things we find when we travel around, for example, we've just been recently down in the Czech Republic, and it's quite interesting when we go down there and we play with people who are playing Irish music, but they play Irish music in a kind of Central European way. It's not exactly the same. A lot of the tunes and everything are the same, but they've got a little bit of a kind of maybe a kind of gypsy twist to them. There's a way of phrasing and there's a way of ornamentation, which is particular to that part of the world. It's not the same way as they play Irish music in Ireland. When we go up to Norway, it's a similar thing. They've got a very strong fiddle tradition, and when they play Irish music, some of that phrasing spills over into the Irish music. So I think what we think is interesting is not to just kind of stick things together, but just to find a more kind of organic, more kind of natural way that the music has evolved.
And also that we all the 3 of us has been in a lot of different music through the years. I mean, jazz and Nordic and world music, and we've been diving into it, and we put ourselves into that. So that's our accent to the Irish music.
So when people could say there's some difference between the kinds of playing, we don't see it as a problem. We see it as an opportunity to explore things.
But the instruments you use are, well, so to say, typically Irish, not exclusively Irish.
Mostly. I would say mostly. I mean, we're basically Louise is playing the fiddle, I'm playing guitar and bouzouki, and Brian is playing the Irish bow and the Irish playing drum. That's our basic setup. Having said that, for example, we have a thing called a scooty box, which is something an idea we've got from South Indian music, Kartanka music, from the south of India, where they use it's like a kind of squeeze box. You'll see it tomorrow when we play. It's a kind of squeeze box that you can use as a drone. And we found that that's very good for example, if we want to do something which is a bit slow and we want to set a mood, so we can just get this thing. So
we just can't play the pipe, so.
We haven't got any bagpipes, but we have got drones. And plus, you've got to remember there's only 3 of us, and we've only got 6 hands and 6 legs. So it's a question of making the most of what we've got.
Yeah. The frame drum, the bodhran, it's called bodhran, right?
The boron.
Boron is, I believe, an instrument which has a lot more to it than just playing a rhythm, right?
Oh yeah.
Could you tell a bit more about it?
Yeah, it's a fantastic instrument, because I'm originally a drummer on a drum kit, but and that's pretty fun. But the boron has this opportunity to mix into the fiddle in this case, to go with the tune or go against the tune, and then go away and keep only the rhythm with the guitar, perhaps. And then you're always you have always opportunity to flavor the tune, or flavor the drones, or flavor the chords in the guitar. And it's kind of magic.
I think one of the interesting things about the boron is the fact that it doesn't only provide a rhythm, it can also be used as a melody. I mean, you can change your hand position, so you actually do play notes. So you can make kind of melodic rhythms, which is actually something which is very characteristic of Irish music. If you compare Irish music, for example, African music or Latin music, where you've got percussion which is tuned to a certain note, you guys. With the boron, you've got all the notes there. It's just a question of, if you're clever enough, being able to find those notes, and it's not easy.
And Louise, you play the fiddle.
Yeah.
Rather than, if someone would say, "Are you a violinist?" then you would say, "No, I play the fiddle."
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
So where's the difference?
For me, the difference is that I think a fiddler is a more folky violinist. I think a violinist is more into classic music, maybe also jazz, and for me, fiddling is folk.
Isn't there something to do with the way that you hold the bow?
Maybe I've never heard that thing, but
I've heard something that a fiddler, because you don't hold the bow in the same way as a classical fiddler would hold the bow, do you?
Yeah, I think I'm close.
Okay,
actually.
okay, right. Yeah.
I think many folk music they put the hand up the bow, so it's shorter and more
exactly,
to the strings. I'm at the thrush, but
it depends on the genre. I think in Danish music they do more of that, don't they? In the Danish.
Yeah, it still depends on. I think the guys you would hear at the festival tonight, they would hold here, but they are educated on the. We have a folk line on the conservatory with some places, and some of the people here they are educated from there, and I think they hold down here. But maybe older trad fiddlers they would hold up. So for me it's the style. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that comes partly from the fact that a lot of fiddlers nowadays, when the younger fiddlers actually come up with a certain amount of classical background.
Yeah.
More than if you went back perhaps 50 years, then people would be playing more with different, with a more kind of folk, a different way of holding the bow, for example. They wouldn't have been educated classically in the way that young players are now. So I think probably that's got something to do with it.
Yeah. John, you've been travelling around the world before you started playing with Tradish, with this trio, right? But originally you came from Ireland, I believe, right?
No.
Or from England?
England.
Okay. All right.
North of England. Born in Manchester and grew up in a town called Blackpool.
Okay.
But when after I finished school, it's not a good place to be, Blackpool. It's not a good place to be, Blackpool. So I realised that if I wanted to if I wanted to do something with my music, then I would need to leave. And it was actually at a time when things were not going so well in England in the 80s. And so, I realised if I wanted to be a musician and I wanted to do that with my life, then I had to make a decision that I needed to leave England, which has been great inspiration for all sorts of songs about leaving your own country, because I know exactly what all that's about.
And how about the relation between Irish music and Denmark? Is there a strong relationship?
Well, I think you've come to the right place to understand that relationship, because, as Morten explained, Tønder Festival, which has been very much the focus of a lot of the folk music that's been going on in Denmark over the past 30 years. I think, 40 years. It's going to be the 40 years. Certainly at the beginning, there was a very, more than half the bands that played in Tønder Festival were Celtic bands. That would be bands from particularly Ireland and Scotland, Nova Scotia, Canada, and also American bands, bluegrass bands, which has also got a lot of connection to the Irish. So, and I think the reason for that, you can say, is because it's been something that Danish music. The Danish can understand. There is something about. I mean, you could explain and say, it's because of the Vikings. There's something about Irish music we've found. Also, when we play in Norway, there's something about it where they say, we get this. We haven't got it, but we get it, and that's good. It's good for us because we say, we can. Here you go. This is it. So I think really, there's been a very old connection between Ireland and Denmark.
Thank you very, very much. I'm looking forward to listening to the concert tomorrow night.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank you.
You're welcome.